Okay, it's been a long night for me. Can't sleep, but I'm with God. Things are going good, and obviously this video is going to be on why faith pleases God. And before I get into this, I want to say one thing I always told God when He started coming to me about my purpose and what I'm supposed to do and how I'm supposed to do it. I always told God I don't want to be like every other pastor, every other priest. I don't want to be like every other religious guy. Like, I truly want to help people and I want people to understand. And I want to do it in a way that I feel like it can reach people on levels where everyone can grasp it, okay? So, why does faith please God? Faith pleases God, realistically, if you really think about this, faith pleases God is because there's no other way to come to grips with a being you cannot see. Like, really think about it. You cannot see God, right? You might have an experience, right? And those experiences in your life are going to be vastly different range from person to person. They're going to be insane, right? Some might seem like in hallucinations, some are going to be in dreams. You might see Jesus in some way, shape, or form. We don't know what's going to happen, right? God can reveal Himself to you in a stupid amount of different ways, right? But you might not believe it, right? There's something that could happen in your life, or something wild could have happened, and you could have thought it was this, but you could have wrote it off because in our society, in our day and age, most people don't believe, right? So faith, the reason why God is pleased by faith is because that's deep down, when it comes to our existence here, that's all you truly have. You don't have anything else. You're riding on faith. When you get in your car every day, you can literally get smacked. You can die any minute. So you scrap that. The fact that you're on a ball spinning in space, everyone's existence can end at any second. The fact that that's a miracle. That's a miracle in itself. Everything about your existence, everything about your life is technically built on faith. You just don't think that. You're not worried about it because how God set things up, we're to some degree comfortable. We are comfortable. We can walk around and not have to worry about like the world just blowing up randomly, right? We don't have to think about that because we know deep down in our being that God is good. And we live on a planet that's sustainable. Everything in life is good. We're living in a good world deep down. We know this. But when it comes to like God and thinking about it theologically and the Bible and all these other religions, it's truly faith. You have to find people like me, who is genuine, built for love, built to do this, and truly have faith. I cannot prove nothing to you. I only can tell you my experiences. I only can tell you my relationship with God. I can only try to break things down in the Bible the way I can break them down. I'm not everybody. I'm only me. And I trust God with my whole heart. The God of the Bible, the God of the Old and the New Testament that Jesus Christ talks about. Jesus Christ is God. Faith has to be your foundation. And it pleases God because deep down, that is all you have. You cannot see God face to face. You can't be with Him at this point. So you have to rely on Him. And the reason why we have to trust Him is because deep down we already do. In our being, we already know God. In our being, we already trust God. You're on a rock floating in space, right? You're in a rock, on a rock. You have the sun. Apparently it's massive. It can go out and then it's over for us at any second. But you're not worried about that. Why? Because deep down, you trust God. You know God. God is the sword. The Gnostic Gospels, cap. That's from the devil. The Gnostic Gospels are cap. People that talk about the Gnostic Gospels don't know what they're talking about. Islam, cap. Hinduism, cap. Everything is cap. Christianity is the true religion. Jesus Christ proved it by who He was. The Old Testament is not of the devil. People are reading it confidently, thinking they know what they're talking about. Your understanding, we're all dumb. Everyone's an idiot. Even the people, quotation around people, smart. I always called smart people, there's dumb smart people, where they're too egotistical. They think they know it all. You don't know nothing. So when God spoke to me, it made me realize I don't know nothing. My understanding comes from God. When I'm confused about something, or if I don't know something, I'm humble. I realized I don't know nothing, especially about the Old Testament. Think about it. Like, I remember I'm watching this guy called Static in the Attic. He's like a huge, like, just, I guess, thinker. He's agnostic. He don't know what he's really talking about, but he believes what he's saying. And I'm listening to this guy, and I can refute almost everything he's saying just by saying you don't know it all. This guy reads the Bible and just kind of craps on it and tries to say the Old Testament God, because he knows about the Gnostic Gospels. The Old Testament God is basically Satan, and he's got this complete bias, and he's putting it on the text. Like, he's reading his bias into the text without considering that, one, the Bible's not perfect, and two, everything is not written in the Bible. These are stories. Everything's not there. You have to, right, you take the Bible as a reference or a guide, right, to some degree to understand God. But the most of the stuff, if you have a relationship with God, if you believe, if you come to this conclusion, if you really seek God, God will reveal himself, and you will have to trust him. God is the same today and forever. In the past, he's not going to change. He comes to you like he is. He says, I am who I am. Why? Because God doesn't act like anyone else. He doesn't act. He's not going to change. God's not changing. Because I remember in one of his videos, Static in the Attic, he talks like when he revealed himself to Moses, God says, I am who I am. I am, right? And it's because I remember when God first talked to me, he started talking to me as if he had authority over me. He didn't greet me nicely. And this is the Father. This isn't Jesus. The Father is the one that talks to me the most. He talks to you as if he already has authority. He doesn't really introduce himself. He starts talking to you, and he starts saying stuff. He starts telling you to do stuff, and he's gonna say, "Oh, I mean, I don't know how to explain it because it's hard to explain it without you guys actually having your experience." He does not talk to you like he's your friend. I mean, he does. But I don't know. He does. Once you build that relationship, it's easier to do that with him. But at first, he's more so telling you, like, he's your authority. He's not talking to you like you equal. He talking to you like, I'm God. That's how he talks to you. So when he talks to Moses, he's telling him straight up. Moses don't know who he's talking to. God tells him, because God doesn't have to prove himself to no one. That's what I'm trying to get. This is what this guy doesn't understand. He tried to use that to make it seem as if God's a douchebag because he came in like he's God. He's not going to come in. If you're God, you're not going to come in like you're not. You're going to come in like you are. And that's how he does every time. Like, he does not change. Like, I promise you, he does not change. And the only way you can seek and find God is by faith, because the world is, like, in some sense, you can say this is an illusion. Like, think about how we're supposed to be living here. It's supposed to be good, peaceful, great life. But it's not. Why? Because the devil's tricked everyone. And we want too much. One thing I talk to my girl about all the time is like, why do we suffer here? It's because people want too much. And then people will sacrifice other people for things or make them slaves to benefit better, more so than other people. And then God has to deal with all of this. Like, most people think, oh, God can just snap his fingers and this is all good. It doesn't work that way. I remember I was getting frustrated with God, and basically I knew what he promised me. God promised me something, and I wanted it now. And I remember, and God comforts me easy, like, and that's because I'm a good soldier. I follow God. I trust God, right? But he could say one thing, it'll comfort me. But I was stressed, and I was so stressed because I was like, yo, if I get what he promised me now, everything in my life changes. And then this is what God said. God basically was like, you know, I'm working. He was like, it's not as simple. He was like, one, you gotta consider the devil is working against me. Like, the devil works against God. So God has to work around the mess that one we make and the mess the devil tries to make against us. So God's working, and not only is God working, God is tired. God actually does get tired. That's why it talks about the Sabbath and God resting. When he created everything, God had to rest. God actually does get tired. And people don't consider all these things. God is a good God, but the problem is most people don't understand God as he's trying to reveal himself through time. God is not revealing himself in just one instant. He reveals himself over time. And people don't have love in their heart to give God the patience and the grace to let him show himself so we can bring ourselves to him. No one listens. That's the biggest problem in our time.